Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry. Today's video is going to be my summoning session on the new Gala Dragalia showcase featuring Ranzal. I'm also briefly going to mention the Dream Summon special since a lot of you commented or asked about this. It's out now. It turns out it does cost 1500 diamantium. So your cheapest option in order to get that, if you haven't purchased it already, is this beginner's pack, which costs $8. I am probably going to dip in and get this myself toward the end of the availability period when I actually decide on who I want to get through the Dream Summon. These extra bonuses aren't really great. The water and dragon fruit are nice, but mainly this pack is here for that cheap access to diamantium. If you've already gotten that, then I would recommend the Trials pack or the Upgrade Weapons pack or both of these story packs, since together they will add up to 1500 diamantium. The nice thing about these is that they provide limited items like Sunlight Stone, Damascus Ingots, or basically these golden keys, which allow you to unbind your 5-star dragons, weapons, and worm prints respectively. So the bonuses you get in these are kind of nice, and this would be another option to get your dream ticket for around $20. As for the ticket itself though, I am going to wait until the end of the availability period, and I suggest you at least get all of your Gala summoning out of the way, and possibly all of your summoning on the next showcase out of the way before you decide to pull on this, because once you lock in your choice, that's it. And you could get that character on the Gala or through normal summoning, and if you already selected it, that would be kind of disappointing to have it be a duplicate, unless it's a dragon or something and you're planning on or trying for duplicates of it. So looking through here, I'm not going to advise too much on who you should select. I really think you should just pick characters you like based on an aesthetic you like or a playstyle, a weapon type you like. If you want to be particularly strategic, look at what content is immediately ahead of you. If you've already beaten High Midgard Sormer, maybe that means you want to get Sanfried for Hypernhilda. If you've already beaten that, maybe you want to get Linyu or Maribel or Luis for High Mercury that's coming out. For me, I already have all of the Flame Adventurers. I'm missing Zanfried and Water, Linyu and Wind. I'm missing a lot of the Light Adventurers, and then I'm missing Nefaria and Shadow. And as you can see, Curran and Heinwald weren't added, so that does simplify my choice a bit because I was looking at Heinwald potentially. So my choice is right now between Nefaria, who is just someone I've wanted since the beginning of the game, and I like using the bow as a weapon. I have my bow dojos up pretty high, so Nefaria just has a lot of appeal to me. I have a Nidhogg that's been unbound once that I can start to work on for her. Or one of these Poison Res characters, because right now my only 100% Poison Res character is Ron. And Albert being the one that excites me the most just for the raw damage potential. Annalie kind of practical because I already have where I'm building a 5-star light lance for Halloween Alisan. And Julietta, just that 15% defense co-ability on a 5-star axe, that is really strong, so I also see some appeal to her. And of course there's also Lucretia here, who I tried to assemble the entire Harmonia Choir last year, and she was the one who got away. I got a 5-star wand that summon session, but it was actually a Maribel. So just to look through the rest of this, you can see the other nice pickups that would appear for us on this Gala, or that we might be hoping to get. I don't have Carl. I don't have Orsum, Kuhai, Lowen, Odetta, Fritz, Ryozin. And then at 3-star, I don't have Marty, and I also don't have Zhao Lei. Now, of course, I wouldn't recommend you spend your summon ticket on one of these adventurers that are 4-star or 3-star, just because I think you'll get them eventually. Dragons, upon further thought, maybe not such a bad choice. And initially I said you'd probably want to get an original dragon rather than a duplicate. But the more I think about it, it actually might be the opposite. So if you are getting an original dragon and it's a 5-star, it's worth it if you plan to fully unbind it eventually. But for me, like, say I want Cerberus because I don't have her. Well, a level 40 Cerberus, one copy of Cerberus, is not really going to be better for me than a max unbound Ifrit, which is the 4-star, which is pretty easy to do now that we can get Moonlight Stones through the monthly treasure trade from Void Battles. So just getting one copy isn't really going to make a lot of difference. So just picking up a random Poseidon or Long or even Zephyr, I could pick up a Zephyr because it would strengthen my Eleonora and have her with a higher strength stat compared to High Midgard Stormer. But is that really worth it? Do I really plan to spin 4 Sunlight Stones on Zephyr to actually get it to its full potential compared to a rock? Probably not, because I've only max unbound 1 dragon in 6 months of playing this game, and that was Dragon Yul'Jan, and I bought a $10 pack to actually speed that up. So it does take a long time to unbind dragons as a free-to-play player. So I actually think maybe using this to get an unbinding, rather than just get an original dragon, might be better. But personally, adventures are just more exciting. They're kind of where it's at as far as new styles of play. And so that's why I'm more looking at the adventurers. I do have a Gilgamesh that's once unbound. I have a Nidhogg that's once unbound. Jean is just at base. And Garuda's at base. Leviathan's at base. Agni is. Prometheus is once unbound. So I have a pretty wide selection of dragons to work on as far as unbinding projects. But all of this will depend, of course, on what we summon today. If we happen to pick up one of these adventurers or dragons we don't have, then, of course, that will influence my decision. I'm definitely going to wait until the 15th or the 14th until I actually make that choice. But that's all I want to say on the Dream Summon Special, so I will be back and we are going to summon on Gala. Alright, I am back. We are here to summon, and we'll briefly talk about the Gala itself. I am going to post a link in the description to a summon calculator. This is done by community members Archaic and Proof, part of the Reddit community and Discord communities for Dragalia Lost. I've seen some of Proof's posts on Reddit, and they are a great source for the math behind the summoning. A far better source than I, so I defer to them. From their calculations, it seems like it is pretty hard to target Gala Ranzal, just like it was with Cerise. So you need an average of 19 tenfolds in order to target Gala Ranzal, or that's what the average will be. To have a higher chance of success, you need even more than that, and even at 50 tenfolds, you are not at a 100% chance of success. There's more than a 5% chance of failure. So it is very costly to target on these Galas, and if you were thinking about getting Gala Cerise, well, I hate to dash your hopes, but Gala Cerise is still here, but she has the same random small chance as every other 5-star. So only Gala Ranzal has been given a rate up. Everything else is at a normal appearance rate, so it really is a random selection as far as what you're getting. One other change compared to last time is that worm prints are now at 2%. It's lower than before, so you won't be getting pity broken as often by worm prints. I think that's a nice change. It parallels the changes we've seen recently with some of these showcases where there's 2 adventurers on focus and only 1 worm print on focus. As far as Ranzal, compared to my analysis yesterday, the only thing I'll add is, on the wiki, which I'll also link to, we now have some information about his SP costs on his skills, and they are indeed pretty fast to charge, with Wind Tactics taking a little bit less than twice as long, or a little bit more than twice as long as Cyclone Blade, rather. And as far as Experience's boon, it seems that the defense buff from this isn't visible, so I don't know, I haven't seen yet what the amount of that defense buff is, but from everything you all are reporting in the Discord about using Ranzal so far, he seems like an absolute beast, a complete tank, and it seems like this doesn't work with double buff, the Experience's boon, but of course Wind Tactics does, and everything about him, if you happen to be lucky enough to get him, I think he is a great character, a great adventurer, just like with Gala Cerise. I don't think they're going to release these and make them bad. As for whether you need him, you really don't necessarily need a character like this. It's just a matter of luck if you happen to get him. And so that's why going into the summoning, unlike with Cerise, I am not going to be crazy targeting Gala Ranzal. With Cerise, I think part of the appeal was there was no other version or variant of her at that time, and there still isn't. Ranzal, I have my 4-star Ranzal in my roster. It's not as fancy as Gala Ranzal, but I'll take it. I have my Ranzal. So if he happens to come home, we'll be very happy. But if not, That's the way it goes sometimes. So we're going to start off with our single summons in batches of 10, so we can only do up to one batch unless we break our pity rate early. And then we'll go over to our tenfold summons. I'm not planning on using all of my Wormite today. At most, I would want to spend 10,000 Wormite, but I'm going to see. I think if we don't get a 5-star within our singles, I will probably go for one 5-star. If we do get a 5-star within our singles, I will probably go for a second 5-star using our tenfolds and some Wormite potentially. I still believe in a possibility that we'll get a limited banner right after this on April 1st, right when Gala ends. If you look at the last Gala with Gala Cerise, we had a limited banner, the New Year's banner, right before that. So I think that there's a chance of that. And from a financial perspective, kind of makes sense to put those limited banners back to back and try to get people to spend some money. Here we're going to get a 4-star, so hopefully something good that we don't have. What's it going to be? It's a worm print. Could be a good worm print. And it is a good worm print. Fresh perspective. Ranzal and Lowen, 2 people I would love to summon today. And this gives me another unbinding on this worm print. This worm print, as far as dual worm prints go, has to be one of the best secondary worm prints you can have. For any character who wants to be using 4 strikes like a sword unit, like Ranzal himself, the new Ranzal. And the nice thing is the skill damage on this will go up to 15%, so it's enough to bring your skill damage to its maximum if you're using a primary worm print that's 25% skill damage. This is a really good worm print, and these 2 abilities together still haven't been seen on a 5-star print yet. So, off to a good start today. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I've been waiting to summon for so long that, I don't want to get my hopes up too high. I see some of your summon posts on the Discord, and they are incredible, so my expectations got inflated from that. Here I was hoping we might get Marty, but Raymond is pretty cool. Cool adventurer. Now, the reason I want to save, like I said, is that limited banner. I think there could be a limited Eleonora, or at least it might be an Easter banner. And I'm kind of a sucker for those seasonal units as compared to power and raw power. If I just wanted raw power, I would probably go all out on this Gala. Mostly for the power of Eldwater, though, because that is really all I need. I'm pretty situated as far as adventurers and dragons. I just need to farm up some sunlight stones and get Eldwater to max out the co-abilities of some of my adventurers to take on the rest of the endgame content. Francesca is pretty nice. One of the rare Wind Dagger units. Her and Su Fang are the only Wind Daggers, and she has a pretty good kit, actually. So let's see who we're going to get here. Another 3-star. It's a Lance. Jacob. Jacob has been putting in some work in Hybern Hilda too. Now that we have access to dual prints, anyone who can get up to 75% res of either stun or burn for now. Whoa. Okay, I have to stop talking about that. We're getting a 5-star. It's a sword. It's Naveed. Oh my god, I got so pumped. I thought, is it Ranzal? Is it going to be Albert? We don't have Albert, but it's going to be Naveed. That's alright, buddy. I still appreciate you showing up, bringing the 3000 Eldwater. Naveed appeared randomly for me on the showcase where he was originally featured, where I was actually just going for a Phoenix, and I managed to get a Naveed. So now we would need to do 10 more summons before we got our 5-star rates increased, so we can't use our singles to achieve that unless we're willing to burn Wormite on singles. So I think instead we're going to go directly into the tenfolds now, and probably do one more 5-star and then stop. Naveed does count against our total. And if we see the next banner come out on Sunday, on the 31st, and decide it's not something we need, nice, we're getting a 5-star right away. Maybe I'll summon again. But if it's something that we don't want, we'll come back. An axe! I don't have any 5-star axes. That is guaranteed to be new, and that sword could be new too. It's Kuhai. It is new. It's Kuhai. It's basically our budget Ranzal. Never melt ice. So the axe, it could be Curran, or it could be Julietta, or it could be Linyu. All of those would be great. Oh man. Entwine Flames, alright. It's gonna be Curran! Awesome, awesome, awesome. He is such a beast. As far as damage goes, he is awesome. Garuda's Feathers, that's cool. That's a little better with dual Worm Prints to meet HP checks. And we got Marty! This is such a good circle, you guys. Taro. He's just there to show support. Warlust, that's a cool Worm Print. Wow. This is a really good circle. So I don't even know where to begin. Let's start with our 3-star and work our way up. Marty is one of those characters I was talking about who has gotten a lot better with the dual Worm Prints, because this stun res ability goes to 50% and this one is 25. So if you put a 25% stun res print on him, he is good to go for High Midgard Stormer. And his shield is kind of nice. It can block High Midgard Stormer's dashes. Potentially could block some of the tornadoes, I think. Spiral Hunter, basic attack. But Marty, if he's one of your favorite characters, he can be used in that fight really effectively now. So, happy to get Marty. Then we get Kuhai, another sword, a wind sword, just like Ranzal on the showcase. Soaring Flicker, pretty straightforward attack. Keen Blade, this one enhances his critical rate. It enhances it by up to 10% once this is upgraded. And it enhances his force strikes, and it kind of makes them so they lunge forward. So it's really similar in design to Ranzal's, but Ranzal actually sends out shockwaves. And then Kuhai's kit has so much critical damage. Any Worm Prints that can increase his critical rate are really helpful. Critical rate and force strike damage are the two things I think you would appreciate the most. So there you see him, with his hat, with the scar there, of course. Looking really cool. And Curran. So Curran, all about the raw skill damage. Circular Judgment. This can debuff enemy defense when you upgrade it. Merciless Blow. Attack pattern really similar to the 5-star axes that have an attacking skill, like the Water Axe or the Wind Axe. Overdrive Punisher, very solid ability. Last Offense, you know, it's something. It's not the best ability, but in high dragon fights, when you take some damage to start off the fight, it can be pretty good. And Paralysis Res that goes up to 100%. I really wanted Heinwald on the last showcase on Accursed Archives, so I was kind of hoping to spend my dream ticket on him. But the fact that I get Curran now, I feel really happy. I feel like my Shadow team has strengthened a bit. So let's think about what to do here. We got Curran. We also got a duplicate of Naveed. Do we want to spend another tenfold? Within 2 tenfolds, the odds are good that we'll get a 5-star and reset our pity rate. Because this is Gala, the odds are good. So we could spend a tenfold and then spend 1500 Wormite, and chances are we will probably get another 5-star within that. There might be a need to go again, and maybe even again, up to potentially 60 summons, but I think either way we have enough Wormite cushion. We have our login bonuses coming up that I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to be a little greedy. Maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe I've just been egged on by a really good circle. But let's see what we get. Looks like we're just going to get a 4-star this time. But we're going to get 4 of them. Who's it going to be? Wormprint, a staff rather. That could be Lowen. And we actually did get a 5-star, a dragon. Taro is back to support us. Orion is here for good luck. Ricard is here for healing, I guess. Lunar Festivities. I think this is my first unbinding on this. I really want to try this worm print out, especially now that we have dual prints. We did get Lowen.
Come on, everyone.
Lowen gang. Finally, I got Lowen. I tried to pull for him back on Luis and Lowen's banner, but I got Luis on singles, and I decided, you know what, the luck was too crazy, it was time to stop. But now I can craft that new Void Battle Wind Staff and actually use it for Lowen. Raymond. Irfan. And what's our 5-star dragon gonna be? Okay, we got a 4-star Wyrmprint before then. Sisters of the Anvil. Working on the second max unbound of that now. Hey, we're gonna get Liger. So it's a new dragon. Liger is pretty good. Liger is pretty good. All of these 30% HP, 30% strength dragons, to me, have a little bit of new life with the dual Wyrmprints and with ranged adventurers like Lucretia, who I don't happen to have, but I have Hildegard, for instance. If I wanted to give her a more attack-oriented setup, I could technically use that on her. Or I have Amane, who would be a good user of Liger. But Lowen is probably in the top 3 healers, maybe. That might be a bit of a stretch. He's definitely one of the best 4-star healers, though. And his popularity is so high. He is so beloved. This Winds Protect Us is an insane skill. Once this is fully upgraded, you can buff the entire team's max HP by 10% and their defense by 20%. And because Lowen has skill prep that goes up to 75%, you give him the Void Battle Staff, you give him a 25% skill prep Wyrmprint, whatever it may be. If you get him to that 100%, he can use that skill to start a high dragon fight. And this is how units that wouldn't otherwise be able to get into High Midgard Sormer and beat High Midgard Sormer already. So this could be used for incredible effect against High Mercury for sure. They might even make it so that the cutoff is higher because they know that Lowen can do that so easily. But yeah, Lowen is awesome. Happy to get Lowen. Happy to get Liger too. Liger is going to be getting some gifts in my Dragon's Roost for sure. I'm very tempted to continue summoning right now. I feel like I'm on a roll, but I think that's going to do it for this video. We will wait and see what the next showcase is on Sunday, and if it's something we want to go for, we'll save, and if not, we will probably dump a lot more resources into Gala on that day. So let me know how it's gone for you. I hope that your summons have been good. I hope they've been very fruitful to you and that you've gotten everything that your heart desires. Let me know, as always, in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time.